Welcome to Preparing for the Unexpected. Today we are talking with Daman Sood about his 11th book on resilience entitled 100 Days of Resilience. Daman, great first segment there where we picked three quotes from the book. I've got another set for you, picked at random, and I'm interested to see what you have to say about them or what you were saying when you made these quotes. The first one
Okay.
I'd like to touch on is elongate your RTOs, or recovery time objectives, for anyone who might not know
Yeah.
the acronym.
Yeah. This seems to be from the basics, Alex, when we start talking about RTOs. Oh, Daman, I read that 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago. So this seems to be too simple. But this is very important according to me. So the quote is elongate your RTOs and be resilient. This is about being reasonable and practicable. Shorter RTOs, I believe, do not equate to higher resilience necessarily. Aggressive targets often create a fragile system designed to break. So if we say shorter RTO, I need a shorter RTO for my process, what I'm doing is I'm spending or I'm asking the organization to spend extra. Shorter RTO means it's costly, more time, money, effort, etc. In short, I'll say it's very costly affair having shorter RTOs. We need to be reasonable and practicable. Always ask 3 times, if not 10 times, do you really need this? Whatever RTO is coming out of your BIA. We know, you know, I know that there are some experts in the world today who are saying kind of a radical change in BCM approach or BIA is not required, etc., etc. Whether through BIA or without, or through a detailed BIA or a shortcut BIA, RTO is definitely required. And it has to be reasonable and practicable. If not, then BCM may become a black hole also. It may consume all the resources, time, money, effort that an organization may have and or may be willing to spend without yielding anything or without yielding anything meaningful. So, in short, the condensed message through this quote and this chapter is to be reasonable and practicable in our BCM approach. Spending extra money doesn't necessarily mean that we are more resilient. Being reasonable and practical means that we are more resilient because we have thought it thoroughly. We have asked questions 10 times before we started implementing or making the arrangements.
Yeah, I agree. I talked with a client a while back, and they were saying so many processes and systems have to be up in under 1 hour, except when we did a tabletop test, they said it would take 4 hours based on the time that we were doing the test and the scenario.
Right?
Based on this, it will take us 4 hours to mobilize the team. And I said, well, you're going to have to be faster because
Exactly.
you have an under 1 hour RTO. So which
Exactly.
one is wrong?
Right. Right.
So they had to
In one of the
elongate.
right. In one of the tests, Alex, one person disappeared on the way. The test was that we will say there is a disaster. Arrangement is people will go and work from home. So let's test. Instead of 40 people, at least four should go home. The test was in Sharjah. Most people were in Sharjah, but there were some people in Dubai also. So three people had to go to their home in Sharjah. One person had to go to Dubai. And they kept saying, Daman, it's just 30 minutes, Sharjah to Dubai. Daman, it's just 30 minutes. Said, okay, let's see what happens during the test. 1 hour gone, and we didn't hear back from this person. Other three reported safe arrival, starting work. And then we were worried. We got first information from him after 2 hours that he was stuck in the traffic. But for 2 hours, person was disappeared. So what RTO? They had kept RTO to be 30 minutes.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Hey, let's go for the next quote. I like
Mhm.
this one. Resilience needs renewal.
Okay. So I'll read the quote first, Alex. Resilience is not a one-time achievement. It needs constant renewal. Now it's clear. Chapter name is just Resilience Needs Renewal, but it is based on this full phrase, quote. And if I have to talk about this, I'll say resilience is a perishable commodity. Very important to understand this. It's not forever, whatever plans or arrangements we have made, because the context of the organization changes. The moment I say context, Alex, my experience having gone across companies, countries, industry sectors is that almost no one has this context written or not written very well. If we do not understand the context, we cannot do B, leave aside BCM very well. So I wrote this quote that we need to keep it up to date. We need to renew it, just like a policy or life policy or general insurance policy, home insurance policy, or vehicle policy needs to be renewed every year. At least once a year, we must look at our resilience arrangements also. A strategy that worked yesterday may be obsolete tomorrow as the risk landscape evolves and internal structures shift, which means the context of the organization changes. It is not a destination, I say, Alex, but a state of being that requires continuous recharging. So I'm introducing these words on purpose. That is a perishable commodity. It may rot. It may be of no use. It may start stinking. And also that we need to recharge. Especially the people portion needs to be recharged. Otherwise, people in resilience domain also get tired, get bored, also live with an attitude. I may have that attitude. I know all.
Yeah.
Been there, done that. We use this phrase also. Been there, done that. According to me, that's my downfall. The moment I start using this term, which means I'm not recharging myself. That's a big challenge in resilience. So I said it needs to be renewed.
Yeah. And nothing is permanent. There's change is constant. So there you always have to renew what you have and
Right.
review and incorporate and modify or whatever the case may be. Impermanence
Absolutely.
is, was it change is the only constant.
Right. I
So you
agree
do
with
have
you.
to renew. Yeah. Agree with you completely on that one. I like this next one too. Business continuity should not be driven by fear. I'm interested to hear what you have to say about this because I've spoken about fear in this industry as well. So I'm really interested to hear what you have to say.
Great. So the quote is BC or business continuity should not be driven by fear. It should be driven by conviction. Many organizations, Alex, treat business continuity as a fear-based insurance policy. We have been using these terms also. BSM is like an insurance policy. But we add a factor of fear to get people in line. This is a defensive reaction, according to me, to what might go wrong. If we don't do this, this may happen, and all that may happen is all negative, which means a fear factor being introduced. I also have been saying stats or no stats. BCM is non negotiable. And actually, I have written a full length blog, which is available on my website if people want to go through that. I say, I'm repeating stats or no stats. BCM is non negotiable. We have been using these, or we have been seeing these slides in BCM awareness, especially when it is to be sold internally or externally. So many organizations didn't survive after 9/11 or a similar disaster or a crisis, or so many do not open after a big crisis, or so many vanish within 3 to 6 months after a big disaster, etc., etc. All those are introducing fear, which I would like to take away. Because when we say so many percentage or number go down, went down after a big disaster, etc., but it has never happened to us. It doesn't happen to us. It will not happen to us. It happens to competitors. They have vanished. We are still in business. See, Daman? So again, I'm happy to quote a CEO. The discussion was about the ROI of BCM. And he said he wouldn't even care about the ROI of BCM, as BCM is the basic need of doing business. Simple, full stop. Great. I immediately said, please record this, whatever he is saying. The challenge is within the same organization that they have been going very slow, extremely slow on their BCM journey. So kind of BCM becoming orphan as well. So it's a combination of multiple experiences written in different number of quotes, 100 in number. Today, actually, I stand at 125, but I decided to write the book after reaching 100. So that's why the book has 100.
On that, we've come to the end of our second segment. We're talking today with Daman Sood about his 11th book, 100 Days of Resilience, and we will be right back.